friends, how are you? Welcome to the Fiber Nymph Dye Works channel. I'm Lisa, also known as Fiber Nymph, and today is Friday, May 5th. It's May. The last time I did a regular episode was right at the cusp of March and April, and here we are a month later, gonna do another regular episode. It's been a while, and I've got a lot to show you today and talk about, and some meanderings. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be a long one, so grab yourself some coffee or tea or whatever beverage you would like to enjoy. Maybe break it up into a couple sessions, but there's no way for me to get through this quickly without it just being choppy and making no sense. So it may still make no sense, you never know. But I just want to touch on everything so that I don't leave you wanting for more details. I don't know. You can find me here as well as on Instagram as Fiber Nymph Dye Works. My personal account is Fiber Nymph. There is a Fiber Nymph Dye Works page on Facebook. There is a Fiber Nymph Dye Works group on Ravelry. And there's my website, which is Fiber Nymph Dye Works, which is where my shop is for my yarn, much of which is self-striping, some of which you will see today. And where else? I think that's maybe all the main places. There is a membership option here on the YouTube channel if you would like to help support my work here and the content I make. And you can also just leave a one-time tip if you want to at Ko-Fi. All that information is in the description box below. I have announcements. Let's start with some announcements. Number one, the Middle-earth Winter Holiday Countdown collections. They are still up in the shop for pre-order. They're going to be there through mid-June. They'll probably come down around June 15th. So you still have some time if you're undecided on whether you'd like that or which option. But you can head to the shop and see all of the details there in that listing. Also in the shop, in case you're not on my newsletter list, because I did send out a newsletter earlier this week, I have in stock all three of the Wild Atlantic colorways that I did recently this spring or late winter, whatever it was. It's supposed to be spring now, but we had snow twice this week. I'm not amused. Anyway, I do have Wild Atlantic Pie, Wild Atlantic Wildflowers, and Wild Atlantic Pub Vibes. All three of those are in the shop, both in self-striping and in mini skein sets. So if you're interested in any of those, or you didn't get those during the pre-order period, they're up there for grabs now. So go check that out. Oh, and I also added, finally, some woven items, some of my hand weaving. The table runners and mats, those things have already sold out, but there's 3 scarves still up in the shop. So if you're interested in those, check those out. That was nerve-wracking putting those up because I don't know how to do a description for hand woven stuff. I've never done that before. But anyway, I will add more hand woven things as I am able to create them. So oh, and there was also some serendipitous stripe skeins that went into the shop this week too. So that is still up there as well, some of them anyway. So head over to the shop if you want to check out any of that. Otherwise, let us continue. I do have April Soy Mal winners to announce today. So that will be coming up in the podcast. I am wearing no hand knits that you can see. I do have hand knit socks on. I'm not going to put my feet up this time to show you. I did that on a members video this past month. Here, I want to see my shoes. And I took my shoe off and showed people. That's the kind of quality content you get in the members videos. So yeah, there were a couple members videos up in April. And then I also did my 5 questions video last week, keeping the joy in your making. So if you haven't seen that, you might want to check that out for extra content. I'll link it either up here now or maybe later because I'll probably refer to it at some point. Or you can just find it listed in my channel. So, okay. I will say right now, I feel like I'm kind of in this liminal spaces kind of place in life in general. I'm between so many things, but I'm not really in any of those things. So it's been a really fuzzy kind of time for me. Show season, even though I'm only doing 2 shows this spring, has just been more of a challenge than I was expecting to get into that flow. And so I think that's the overarching thing. Plus, we've had some personal stuff going on here in the family, none of which I'm going to go into because it's not really anything of interest to any of you guys. But, you know, I mean, you guys have your own personal stuff going on, so you know what it's like. And what else? Planning our vacation. We will be going on a 2-week bicycle trip. Bicycle, not motorcycle. I have to keep emphasizing that for people because even when I say bicycle, they're like, oh, you're taking a motorcycle trip. No, bicycle. In Missouri. Actually, 2 days after my next show, we'll be going. We're going to do the Katy Trail, which is going to be like 500 miles altogether when we're done with it. So yeah, wish me luck on that because like I said, the weather has not been pleasant. I have not been able to get out on my bicycle nearly as much as I would like to be getting, you know, conditioned for this trip. So it's going to be interesting, but we're going to do it. So anyway, all that is going on in the background of life right now and in the foreground of life. So anyway, in all of that, I have been trying to keep this as a message for myself. Trust yourself. Isn't this a cool card? This is from, it's an Oracle deck, The Messenger. I'll put a link to it down below in case you're interested. I love Oracle decks and tarot decks. I use them a lot as journal prompts and stuff, but sometimes I just pick an Oracle card to kind of give me a focus for my day or my week or whatever. And this was the one I chose at the beginning of this weekend. I cannot tell you how many times this theme of trust yourself has come to be important to me this week because the things going on. And it's like, you try to second guess yourself. You think you're maybe wrong or, oh, that's silly. Nope. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. So that is my PSA for you right now. Trust yourself. You know more about you than anybody is ever going to know about you. Trust that. Okay, now we're going to get into the crafting. Wow, see, that's how this is going to go today. Going to be a little all over the place. But it's okay. It's how it is sometimes. Let's start with 2 finished objects. One, did I freaking not bring it in here? Okay, no, indeed, I did not bring it in here. But here it is. Okay, I'm saying it's finished. I don't have ends woven in. It has not been blocked, but a little bit more about that in a minute. But it is my Highland Slipover. It is finished. Started it back in January. This was one of my wish list goals that I had on my Stop Shitting on Yourself Mal list, right? This is my hand spun that I absolutely love. It was wonderful to work with. Feels so good. The Highland Slipover by a designer that I can't remember the name, but it will be down here. I don't love this. I don't love this. I know when I talked about it last week on my 5 questions video, I was saying, you know, I may not love it, but I think it'll still be fine. I'm sure I'll be able to wear it. I'll get use out of it. I love the yarn. I still love the yarn. Still love the yarn. I don't love the sweater. I don't love the slipover, the vest, whatever you want to call it. Okay, I would try it on for you, but there is no way for me to like be able to back up enough here. Maybe I'll take a picture of me wearing it and pop it in here at some point after, you know, I'll take the picture when I'm done here. So you can just get a glimpse of what it looks like on. Hey guys, it is Saturday, Lisa. I am trying to edit yesterday's video and I realized I need to add an addendum in here. I recorded at length yesterday about the Highland Slipover and shared with you that honestly I just didn't love it. It felt way too large. For many reasons, probably I didn't get gauge, but I also think I just knit it a size larger than I needed to because I tend to do things like that. Body dysmorphia is a real thing. Anyway, I said I would put a couple of pictures in it here for you guys to see it on me, so I will insert them here. And hopefully you'll get an idea of what I meant about it being, you know, more oversized than it needed to be, even for something that was supposed to have some positive ease. I did make a comment that I feel like a flying squirrel in it, and that's still valid. I do. However, this morning I was outside helping Bill with some stuff out in the yard, hence the reason I look this way. But anyway, it was chilly because the sun hadn't come up over the trees, so we were in the shade, and I just had a sweatshirt on. I'm like, hey, I need to put something else on. So I came in, and I thought, you know what? I have nothing to lose. I'm going to just throw this Highland Slipover over my sweatshirt. Ends not woven in, dangling everywhere, not blocked, whatever. So I did, and here's a lovely photo of that. Don't know that you can really see much, but anyway, I wore it, and I was in it for a few hours out there working, and it was really warm, and it was super comfortable. And so now I'm totally rethinking it. I'm thinking, you know, it may not be something that I would wear if I was going out and wanted to look fancy in a hand knit item, but it's definitely utilitarian. And so I guess my biggest conundrum is, do I want to keep it as that kind of an item? And who knows, maybe once I block it, maybe that will make a difference. Maybe I'll like it better. I don't know. Or do I want to just go ahead and frog it like I had originally planned to, and then recoup that yarn and use it for something that I'm more likely to wear and enjoy, since it is hand spun and I really, really like the yarn. So anyway, that's the story since yesterday. It's amazing how quickly I just keep going back and forth on this piece. It's just not clear cut. So anyway, you've seen the pictures, you've seen me wearing it in sort of action, and you've seen the flying squirrel nature of it. So you can tell me, please tell me what you think. Do you think I should keep it the way it is? Do you think I should just block it and see how that works out? Do you think I should cut my losses and frog it? Do you have some other idea? Please let me know, because I really just do not know what to do with it at this point. Okay, back to the video. I am probably going to cut out a whole bunch of what I did talk about yesterday, because it's now, I don't think it makes any sense now that I've told you all that. So maybe I'll do a follow-up of this on the next video so you'll know what I ended up doing. Okay. I regret whatever mistakes I made that turned it out like this. I honestly do not know if I got gauge. I haven't checked the gauge in quite a while. I know I was getting gauge at the beginning of the project. I'm sure gauge is part of the issue for how big it is. Probably what the other problem is, I probably just made a size too large. I have a habit of doing that because in my mind, I am still larger than what I really am. In case you haven't been following the podcast for a long time, many years ago, I lost about 65 pounds, and I'm significantly smaller, several sizes smaller than I used to be. But in my mind, it's, I guess, a body dysmorphia kind of thing. I think I'm larger than I really am, and that is often reflected in my garment knitting, unfortunately. I'm trying to get better about it, and trust the measurements, and trust the pattern, and trust gauge, but I still slip up. Okay. My second FO is a much happier story, and that is my combo spin. Here it is. I have it all in this bag just so that it's all together, because I am going to use it this year. I don't know exactly when, but this was my combo spin that I started last July and finished up last month. Somewhere I have a note saying my finished yardage, like after it was soaked and everything, it was right around, it was like 1,800 yards, I want to say, finished yardage. So, or else maybe that was, no, I'm pretty sure that was the finished yardage. I don't know. Whatever the yardage was, it's enough to make a sweater. And my sweater that I'm planning to make with it, the whole reason I spun it was the DRK Everyday Pullover or sweater by Andrea Mowry. That is why I spun this fiber, this combo spin, to make that. So I want to knit a swatch anyway. I have like a tiny skein that was towards the end of like the bobbins. So I'm going to ball this up and I'm going to swatch with it, see what I get there, and see how that compares to the gauge that the pattern calls for. And then if I need to make adjustments to make it work out, I will do that. And I can do that math. Oh, excuse me. I'm like hiccupy. Yeah. So that's going to be something that I'm going to do. I'm not going to start this sweater right now. I'm going to wait a bit because I have other things that I want to be working on. But I do want to get this done so that I'll have it to wear like in the winter, fall and winter coming up this year. Yeah, that's really all I have to tell you about. I'm just so happy with how this spin turned out. It was such an enjoyable spinning project. I loved it. And as you can see here, like these two are really big skeins, and then these other ones are all much smaller. That's because I applied these on my sidekick, and then remembered how much I hate plying on my sidekick, even though I have my sidekick specifically to ply because I've got the jumbo bobbins for it. But yeah, that's going to come into play in a minute here that we're going to talk about something. But anyway, super happy with this. Yeah, can't say enough good things about that project. Okay, so those are the only two finished objects that I have. However, I've got several things in the works. So let's jump to those. First up is another spinning project. When you finish one spinning project, you start another one. And actually, this one isn't one I'm starting so much as continuing. So this is the first bobbin that I have for this spinning project. This is some classy Squid fiber, classic Squid dye works. I don't remember what the whole name of the company is. Amanda is the dyer. I don't think she's dyeing currently. Her Etsy shop has been on break for quite some time, as far as I know. And I haven't seen anything on her Instagram about her dyeing, so I don't know what the story is there. But I have had this fiber in my stash. I believe I got it in 2018 at a Needles Up event. I'd spun other fiber of hers. I love her fiber. Anyway, these were some of her cuttlefish bats. Her cuttlefish bats are made up of everything under the sea and sky, I think the label says. And they're really fun. And I bought these. I had 3. This is 2. This is 2 of the bats as far as I can remember. The third one had slightly different colors in it, and in the end I decided it was a little bit too dark compared to these to use. Now, had I thought about this ahead of time, I could have kind of mixed them up as I was spinning, and then I think it would have been okay, but I did not do that. And the other one also has a lot more like neppy bits in it, and I didn't really want to deal with that. So this is just the 2 little cuttlefish bats. So my original plan was to spin these bats using a drop spindle, because I also have one of the drop spindles that they carried in their shop. And I did spin a bunch of the first bat on my drop spindle, and then I was just offloading it onto this bobbin because I knew that's where it needed to be eventually. And then I hardly worked on it. It had been sitting on there for quite some time. And so I decided when I picked this project up again this week, or late last week, I don't remember when it was, that I was just going to finish spinning them on here, which is what I did. And that's fine. So this is probably about 4 ounces. I did pick this dark blue that you see here, I did pick some of that out because it was very hard to draft and it was quite lumpy, some of it. So, that took some of the fiber out, but for the most part, it's all there. So my plan was to do that. And then I don't actually remember if I was going to just ply it to itself or if I was going to ply it with this fiber, because this is the other fiber I bought with it, which is also Classy Squid. And this is, Classy Squid Fiber Co. That's what their business is. This is some Shetland Tessa silk, which I have spun before, and it's lovely. And this is the Nesta colorway. There are not colorway names for these. They were just numbered. Anyway, so I was planning to, like spin some of this to ply with this. So I would have some yarn that had the fancy, bat fiber in it. And then the rest of this, I have 4 braids of this. I was just going to spin on its own and ply together with itself. And I was going to use that for a sweater. That was my plan. And I thought it would be really fun to have just, you know, I didn't have a specific sweater in mind or a specific plan for how I was going to incorporate the bat bits. However, at this point, enough time has lapsed, because again, I think I started this back in 2018, like when I bought it, the bats anyway. My feelings on this have changed. I don't know that I want this in a sweater. And with that in mind, I don't really want to use any of this fiber once it's spun to ply with this, because if I want to make a sweater with this finished yarn, I want to make sure I have as much as possible. So what I opted to do instead was I went into my stash and I found this fiber that I have. It's some John Arbon textiles that I obviously got at the Woolly Thistle. And this is their, oh, it's Dark Skies. I didn't think it had a name. Dark Skies is the colorway. It's their Devonia fiber, which is 50% Exmoor Blueface, 30% Devon Bluefaced Leicester, and 20% Wensleydale. So this was 100 grams, so like 3.5 ounces. And I decided that I was going to spin this up and then ply this to this. And I think it's going to look nice. I'm about halfway through with this. This has been such a nice spin. I purchased several colors of this. I had this and red and orange and maybe a green that I purchased whenever the Woolly Thistle had this one time a few years ago. And I used one package of the red and one of the orange in that combo spin. So I've already used some of it. It's lovely. It's just such a pretty comb top. It's really well processed, and it spins like butter. It's just amazing. So anyway, that's what I'm going to ply these with. So my thought again is, one, if I do get enough yarn out of these braids to do a sweater, I'll either do it all in this, or once I get this done and plied, depending on what it looks like, I think it will probably coordinate with this well enough that I could indeed incorporate it into a sweater if I suddenly feel like that's what I want to do again. And it'll give me more yardage too. So that is my loose plan for this spinning project. Right now I'm just focusing on finishing up what I have going on with the bat singles and then that John Arbon fiber. I'm hopeful that I can get that done like over the weekend. It's Friday. Did I say it's Friday? It's Friday, May 5th. So yeah, I think I'll probably be able to get that finished up over the weekend, and then I can start on this. Now, I am spinning this and I spun this, and then I'm also spinning the John Arbon on my sidekick. Now, you might be wondering, Lisa, you just said a little bit ago that you don't enjoy working on your sidekick. If I didn't say it explicitly, I implied it when I talked about those bigger skeins versus the smaller skeins of my combo spin. And you've probably heard it before if you've been watching the podcast for a while. I constantly have this love-hate relationship with my sidekick. I also have an Ashford Traveler, which is my favorite wheel. I love it. I got it used many years ago. It's rickety. It really needs to be re-glued, but I love it. I love it. My sidekick I like, and I really like being able to ply on it because, again, I have the jumbo flyer, the big bobbins. I can get nice big skeins. However, I almost always have issues when I'm plying with it treadling smoothly, and it's a lot of work, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong, because what I've refound out from spinning this other stuff on it, like spinning the singles, so going the opposite way, it spins fine, nice and smooth, no problems, and I'm totally enjoying it. Now, the only difference is My Traveler, the orifice is offset. It's on the left, so I'm holding my fiber here, like my left arm is aligned with the orifice and my right arm is just here, and I'm drafting this way. That's very comfortable. That's what I'm used to. The sidekick, the orifice is centered. And so even though my right arm is still over here, my left arm has to be centered too. And that's so uncomfortable for me because I'm not used to it. I'm much more used to the Traveler. And it's not as noticeable to me when I'm plying because I hold my hands somewhat differently when I'm plying. But when you're spinning and you have to control everything in a different way, not implying that there's no control needed whenever you're plying, because there is, it's just different. And so I'm having ergonomic issues in that sense, which is completely different than the issues I have when I'm having plying issues. But it's going fine, and I'm getting used to it, and I don't think it'll be a big problem. But yeah, I mean, I'm so happy with it, just spinning on it. So I do not know. I'm going to have to play with it because I am going to ply this stuff that I'm working on now. I am going to ply it on there just because I want to make sure I can get the big bobbins. Although, considering how full this is, I'm probably still not going to be able to get the whole skein plied onto one bobbin. It'll probably be two. But I'm just going to have to play with how I have it set up. I just don't know what I'm doing differently. You know, it's obviously not the regular flyer versus the jumbo flyer because I'm spinning with the jumbo flyer and it's spinning fine. So I don't know. It's a mystery, but I'm kind of happy that I'm enjoying my sidekick since I usually am not. So anyway, okay, so that is my current spinning project. So now let's go on to some actual knitting whips. And let me find the one. Here it is. Okay, so this, I can't remember. I think I showed you. I don't know that this first one was done. We're talking a sock here. I'm going to put it on this. Oh, that's lovely. Yes, that double chin looks absolutely amazing. Okay, so this is my Wild Atlantic Pub Vibes colorway. And I used the little Lantern Gold mini as the heels and toes. If you have watched for a while and you're seeing how tall this is, you can guess who this sock is for. Yes, it is for Bill, my husband. He likes tall socks, and he cannot lie. This was actually his birthday gift. His birthday was at the end of April. I did have the first sock done in time to give him for his birthday. And I wrapped it up with this. I owe you sock number 2. So he thought that was funny. He's like, do I have to keep this till I cash in for the second sock? I'm like, no, it's fine. So anyway, yeah. And I do have the second sock on the go. How far is it? I'm actually almost done with the cuff. When I get to... pull out of there. Okay. When I get to the end of this brown stripe, then I will start doing the heel flap. So about, getting on halfway done with that one. So he likes them, and the fact that they were, the colorway was inspired by our trip to Ireland last year, that made him happy too. So that's been a fun project. I haven't been working on it quite as much as something else because I need to get the other thing done sooner. But it's been a good car project, basically. So, and that that's in my bounce base. I have it in the shop on several different bases. So if you're interested, go check that out. Let's see. The other project that I am working on and working to try to get it done is my final sample for my pattern that I'm designing, the Moss Stitch Shawl, which that's not going to be its official name, but that's what I'm just referring to as right now. This is the 2 skein fingering weight version. Let's see, it goes this way. So here's what I've got so far. This is one of the new colorways that I dyed specifically with this pattern in mind. This is going to be called Fluorite, so after the stone. So there we go, and this is what I've got left of the first skein. Not gonna lie, the fingering weight version to skein is gonna take you a while. It's not, I mean, it's not that it's difficult, it's just, it's a lot of fingering weight yarn. I mean, by the time you're done, this is my bedazzled base, so this has like 438 yards, 437 yards, I don't remember, 438 I think, yards in a skein, and so multiply that times 2. That's quite a bit of yardage. It's going to be a nice big shawl when it's done. But here you go, you can see, and again, this was a pattern that I designed specifically to work with variegated yarns, because the first one that I did, which I just was making the pattern up as I went back in January with my personal stash yarn challenge yarn, it was a variegated yarn, and the moss stitch, it does not look like much of anything before it's blocked. This pattern sings. That's what makes it sing at the very end, is once you block it out. And it really benefits from a pretty aggressive blocking, I will say that. But in the end, it's all what you prefer as far as fabric too. But you can see, you know, it's got the texture. It's not showing up super well on the camera at the moment. I should have brought the other fingering weight version in to show you, but anyway. You'll see them all again once I publish the pattern. I had hoped to have this out in May. However, I ended up giving my test knitters an extra week, a little bit more than an extra week, which was fine because like I've got a lot of stuff going on for shows and stuff right now anyway, so that wasn't a problem. And while I don't have a problem publishing the pattern before I have this sample completely finished, I would rather have it finished so that I can include the pictures. But the other thing is I want to have the new the new colorways dyed up on several different bases of yarn to have in the shop at the time of the release, so that if you like these yarns, you could pick them up to make the shawl. And I may end up doing like kit options or something as well. I haven't decided that yet, but I've just decided that I'm going to wait until we get back from our bicycle trip in June. We get back like the 3rd, I think, the 3rd or 4th of June. So I will plan to have this in the shop after that, because the other thing is I don't want to release a pattern and then go away on a trip where I don't know what my Wi-Fi connection is going to be. Or my internet connection, you know, and I don't want people to, like, if you have a question or what have you, for me to not be able to get back to you in a timely manner. So I just feel like all around, it's probably safer for me to wait until I'm back from my trip. Then I can release it and everything will be cool. And I'll have the yarn ready to go up in the shop and such. So that'll be coming. But yeah, right now I'm just working on that one, that last sample, and I'm having fun with it. I find it relaxing. Like, just to give you the heads up, like, if you are somebody who enjoys purling, like knitting and purling and going back and forth for like seed stitch, moss stitch, ribbing, what have you, like, this will be a fun project for you. It's very memorizable. It's an easy repeat to remember, and it's one of those nice TV, like, sit and work on it while you're watching TV or in a movie or doing whatever. If you go to movies, I have not started going back to theaters for movies yet, but if you can knit in the dark, you could do this. It's not hard. If you are someone who does not like something that's very repetitive and you don't like doing that back and forth between knits and purls, this is probably not going to be your cup of tea. Okay, so just saying, not every pattern is everybody's cup of tea, but I personally have been enjoying it. Okay, that is the culmination of my whips. Then I have some not quite yet whips. So let's talk about those. First of all, I know I talked about this in my April video, my April personal stash yarn challenge yarn that I picked. It was the 2 skeins of done roving yarn. I think I talked about this again in my like mid-month chatty check-in thing that I was on the front porch. When I bought those yarns back in May a couple years ago, Maine a couple years ago, not in May. I specifically had purchased them because I wanted to be able to make a 2-color shawl with them. So after thinking about it, once I opened the bag and saw what it was, I knew that I was going to be working on this two skein shawl, the sample fingering weight shawl, and I knew I did not want to have two skein fingering weight shawls on the go at the same time. So what I ended up doing was I pulled out that Wonderland Yarns yarn set that I did show on that one video. I don't have a picture of it, and I don't have it here either, but it was a full skein of yarn and then a set of 5 rather large minis that were in a really pretty deep blue gradient. And I said I made the executive decision that I was going to swap those out. So instead of, I was going to just put the Dunroven aside. I will use it eventually, but for my April stash challenge, I was substituting in that Wonderland Yarns set, and I was going to weave with it. And that is still my plan. I just have not had time to warp my loom. Everything's wound into balls though. I did get that far, so it's ready to go. I just haven't had time to warp the loom. So that is not yet a whip. I mean, I guess it is if you consider like winding your yarn into balls. So then it's been prepped in that way, but I have not started to work on it. So it will be coming. Anyway, but I do have my May yarn, which I usually try to just pick the bag and then open it on camera so we can both see it at the same time. However, I do know what's in here because I grabbed this bag the other day thinking that it was a different project bag that had an active project in it, and it wasn't. It was that. So I opened it and I'm like, oh, and I saw what it was. But let's look at it together. Isn't this bag adorable? This little camping bag. I can't remember who made it. Does it have a tag? It doesn't have a tag. I don't know, but it's a cute bag. Anyway, so my yarn is some Dragon Hoard Yarn. And I think her colorways are absolutely stupendous. They are just stunning, deep colors most of the time. Really rich. And yeah, anyway, so this is called Good Luck Black Cat on her Myth fingering weight base, which is 75 25 superwash merino nylon, 436 yards, and then it comes with a mini, which looks like a 20-gram mini, so probably 87-ish yards there. I bought this, and I was probably thinking I was just going to make socks with it, but I don't know that I want to make socks with this. I think I want to do something else. It's such a fun colorway, and I think I'm going to look for a crochet pattern to do with it. Either a shawl or a cowl or something like that. I think that's what I'm going to do. It's just, I think the colors are so pretty. I love her ball band too. Isn't that nifty? I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, so I'm excited to do something with this. I'm sorry, my nose is super itchy. But I have to find a pattern. I haven't looked yet. You know, that's another thing. I have to figure out what I'm going to take on this bicycle trip as a knitting project that I can fit in my bag that's not going to be heavy and not take up much space. That will probably end up being a sock project though. We're going to move on to the Stop Shooting on Yourself make-along prizes. If you don't know about the Stop Shooting on Yourself MAL, it's my MAL that I'm hosting all this year. You can read about it in lots of places. I will put that information down below. I did a video on it earlier this year if you want to find out. It's never too late to join in. But I do I do prize drawings at the beginning of every month for the month prior. So I am going to announce the prize winners for this month, but I have to find my little piece of paper, and it's sitting over there. Hang on a second. Okay, I have the list of prize winners. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to announce a chatter winner from the chatter thread on Ravelry. I have a finished object winner from the finished objects that were posted in the finished object thread. And then I have the Instagram tag winner, all for April. before I announce the winners, let me tell you what your prizes are that you can choose from this year, or this month. Sorry, gosh. This is actually something different. I haven't done this before, I don't think, but this is a win it before you can buy it kind of prize offering. I have a series of new colorways that are going to be going into the shop for pre-order at some point before we leave on our trip. So probably not this coming week, but the following week. So like the week is at the 15th maybe. Okay, so a couple of these colorways I've already taken with me to my first show this spring, and I will have them again at the second show. I'm not sure if I'm going to have all of them. It depends on how many I can get dyed. But I have the two that I have done here, and this is what you get to pick from. The collection of yarn that I'm doing is called my Signature Series, and there's going to be 5 colorways in that series. And by Signature Series, I mean colors that I use a lot in my colorways, and I've grouped them in different families. So the first one is my Signature Neutrals. So this is a 5-stripe colorway with 5 of the neutrals that I use the most. Which would be a range of grays, a sand color, and then plain vanilla. So there's a white in there too. So that is the neutrals. And here it is on Bedazzled. And here it is on Mountain Tweed BFL. So this is one option. You can pick this colorway on as a self-striping on one of these 3 bases. Or a mini skein set. However, the mini skeins are a little different. They don't have the sand color or the plain vanilla. They go from soft black on through a progression of grays to wisp. So that's the mini skein version. But again, I have them on all 3 of those bases. Then the second signature colorway is my Signature Brights. So this is sort of the opposite of those neutrals, man. This is the bright colors. Again, 5 colors, 5 stripes in this one. All those brights in there. And here it is on Mountain Tweed and Bedazzled as well. Or mini skeins, again, same colors, except in this case, I've added this orange as a 6th color for the mini skein sets. The orange is not in the self-striping. So again, that's your prize choices. Either Signature Neutrals or Signature Brights on whichever base you want, Bounce, Bedazzled, or Mountain Tweed BFL, or the mini skein sets, the bolds, or not the bolds, the brights or the neutrals. Okay? You can let me know which one you want whenever you find out you're a winner. Please email me, lisa@fibernymphdyworks.com. Email me, let me know you won. Tell me which one you would like. You don't really have to give me options this time because I have enough of all of these that you will be able to get what you want. I'm almost positive. Unless everybody wants the exact same thing on the exact same base. That might end up being a problem, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Maybe give me your top 2 choices just to play it safe. Okay, so here we go. Winners. Chatter. The chatter thread, it was posts number 1,249 through 1,733 for April, and random number generator chose post number 1,400 and I can't read my last number. It looks like 88. I think it's 88. It was Kyeta96, Kyeta 96, who is Krista. I think Krista's a fairly new member too, of the make along. So congratulations, Krista. You are our chatter thread winner. Finished object winner, there was post number 143 to 182 through 182. And random number generator chose post number 163, and that was Mara Lou, who is Mara. And she posted her garden path scarf, which was a woven project actually. So congratulations, Mara. You are our finished object winner. And then jumping over to Instagram with the Instagram hashtag for the make along. There were 24 Instagram tags used in April, and random number generator chose number 6. So the 6th post that was tagged was by Mystery Sewer, who is Sandy. So congratulations, Sandy. Guys, again, if you were one of those winners, please email me. Let me know you won. Give me your top 2 prize choices out of those colorways, and whether you want the self-striping or the mini set, which base, and of course send me your mailing information so that I can get that stuff shipped out to you. So congratulations. We'll do it again in at the beginning of June. For May, it won't be until I get back from my trip, so it may be a little bit further into June. But then we should be back on track after that, because I don't have a ton of traveling going on for a while after that. Okay. That's pretty much all of that. I just had a couple other shop things I wanted to tell you, aside from the things that I told you at the beginning of the episode about what's in the shop now. When we go away, since I'm going to be away for 2 weeks, I am going to be taking down all of the in-stock items that are in the shop before we leave on our trip. I used to leave them up, but when we go away for 2 weeks, I just feel like that's too long. Even if I let people know that we're going to be away, I hate making people wait that long for their items to ship. So I'm going to be taking in-stock stuff down out of the shop. Pre-order items will remain in the shop, and that will include the holiday countdown collection stuff, and it will include the signature series things, which, I didn't get to finish telling you. So there will be these 2, the signature neutrals, signature brights. There's also going to be a signature jewel tones, which I think I'm going to call signature bolds, but they're going to basically be jewel tones. And then there will be signature earth tones, which I may call signature muted, or I may just call them signature earth tones. I don't know. I haven't figured that one out yet. And then I'm going to do a signature pie colorway, where I pick my favorite one out of each of those 4 colorway collections: neutrals, brights, bolds, earth tones, one of each of those colors, and then I'm going to pick my own color that I want to include, that is one of my favorite colors that I use a lot. So anyway, that will be signature pie. I will have samples of all of those up in the shop before, for the pre-order, so you'll be able to see what they're all going to look like. I don't have those last 3 ready to show you right now, though. So anyway, all the pre-order stuff will be up there. The signature series pre-orders are going to take a little bit longer than my pre-orders for other things that I've done recently. Again, just because I'm going to be away in there, and I don't want to have to really frantically rush to get them done when I get back. So I'm going to say they're going to ship by the week of June 19th. But again, all that information will be in the shop before we go. And I'm probably going to do another video of some kind before I leave, and I can remind you of all that. Or, again, get on the newsletter list if you're not there already, and you'll get all that information in a newsletter. Shortly after I get back from my trip, I'm going to be announcing my next Yarn and Fiber Club. So that is something that will be coming, and I can tell you that I will be offering that the same way I did the last one. I will be offering it as full skeins, half skein, like shorty sock set kind of things, and fiber. So you'll have options there as well. So anyway, it's a lot. It's a lot going on. There's a lot of moving pieces right now in my life. And that's just work stuff and my crafting stuff. We haven't even talked about my personal stuff, which you don't need to know. It's nothing super exciting. But yeah, a lot going on. It's exciting, and overall, I'm excited about the stuff that I'm doing for the shop, and I'm excited about my making. I think it's just I'm really busy with the shop and busy thinking about this trip that I'm tired. I'm too tired to feel super excited about a lot of my making right now, although I really am enjoying my spinning project. Yeah, anyway, it's mostly all good stuff going on in life right now. And that's all you can ask for. So I hope it's mostly all good stuff going on in your lives right now as well. Again, I will record another video before I go away on my trip. But I am going to be vending 2 days before we leave on our trip at the Fayette County Fiber Festival, which is going to be in Dunbar, PA, which is like 20 minutes from my house, which is awesome. I love close shows like that. It's a new show, first time they've held it, so I'm really excited to be a part of that. I have that kind of information up on my website. If you want to find out more about that, I'll link to that in the show notes. Other than that, guys, take care of yourselves. I hope things are going well for you. I hope you're enjoying your making, you're keeping your happiness, finding your happiness in your making. And I hope everything else is going well too. So until the next time I record, take care and I'll talk to you again soon.